1 Kings chapter 18, Obadiah meets Elijah. Now it happened after many days that the word of the Lord came to Elijah in the third year, saying, Go show yourself to Ahab, and I will send rain on the face of the earth. So Elijah went to show himself to Ahab. Now the famine was severe in Samaria. Ahab called Obadiah, who was the governor of his house. Now Obadiah feared the Lord greatly. For when Jezebel destroyed the prophets of the Lord, Obadiah took 100 prophets and hid them by fifties in a cave and provided them with bread and water. Then Ahab said to Obadiah, Go into the land to all the sources of water and to all the streams. Perhaps we may find grass and keep the horses and mules alive and not have to kill some of the cattle. So they divided the land between them to survive. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. As Obadiah was on his way, behold, Elijah met him. He recognized him and fell face downward out of respect and said, Is it you, my lord Elijah? He answered him, It is I. Go tell your master Elijah is here. But he said, What sin have I committed that you would hand over your servant to Ahab to put me to death? As the Lord your God lives, there is no nation or kingdom where my master has not sent messengers to seek you. And when they said, He is not here, they have made the kingdom or nation swear they had not found you. And now you are saying, Go tell your master, behold, Elijah is here. And as soon as I leave you, the Spirit of the Lord will carry you to a place I do not know. So when I come to tell Ahab and he does not find you, he will kill me. Yet your servant has reverently feared the Lord from my youth. Had it not been told to my Lord Elijah what I did when Jezebel killed the prophets of the Lord, how I hid in the hundreds of Lord's prophets by fifties in a cave and provided them with bread and water. And now you're saying, Go tell your master Elijah is here and he will kill me? Elijah said, As Lord of hosts lives before whom I stand, I will certainly show myself to Ahab. So Obadiah went to meet Ahab and told him, and Ahab went to meet Elijah. When Ahab saw Elijah, Ahab said to him, Are you the one who is bringing disaster on Israel? Elijah said, I have not brought disaster on Israel, but you and your father's house have, by abandoning, rejecting the commandments of the Lord and by following the Baals. Now then, send word and gather to me all Israel at Mount Carmel, together with the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of the goddess Asherah, who eat at Queen Jezebel's table. God or Baal on Mount Carmel. So Ahab sent word to all the Israelites and assembled the pagan prophets together at Mount Carmel. Elijah approached all the people and said, How long will you hesitate between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, follow him. But the people of Israel did not answer him so much as a word. Then Elijah said to the people, I alone remain a prophet of the Lord, while Baal's prophets are 450 men. Now let them give us 2 oxen and let them choose 1 ox for themselves and cut it in pieces and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. I will prepare the other ox and lay it on the wood, and I will put no fire under it. Then you call on the name of your God, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God who answers by fire, he is God. And all the people answered, It is well spoken. So Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, Choose one, bull for yourself, and prepare it first, since there are many of you, and call on the name of your God, but put no fire underneath it. So they took the bull that was given, and called on the name of Baal from morning till noon, saying, O Baal, hear and answer us. But there was no voice and no one answered, and they leaped about the altar which they had made. At noon Elijah mocked them, saying, Cry out with a loud voice, for he is a god. Either he is occupied or he is out at the moment, or he is on a journey. Perhaps he is asleep and must be awakened. Teasing them. So they cried out with a loud voice to get Baal's attention and cut themselves with swords and lances in accordance with their custom until the blood flowed out of them. As midday passed, they played the part of the prophet and raved dramatically until the time of offering the evening sacrifice, but there was no voice, no one answered, no one paid attention. Then Elijah said to all the people, Come near to me. So all the people approached him and repaired and rebuilt the old altar of the Lord that had been torn down by Jezebel. And then Elijah took 12 stones in accordance with the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had said, saying, Israel shall be your name. So with the stones Elijah built an altar in the name of the Lord. He made a trench around the altar large enough to hold 2 measures of seed. And he laid out the wood and cut the ox in pieces and laid it on the wood. And he said, Fill 4 pitchers with water and pour it on the burnt offering and the wood. And he said, Do it the second time. And they did it the second time. He said, Do it a third time. They did it a third time. The water flowed around the altar and it filled all those trenches. He's like, Let's soak it and make it so it's impossible to start on fire. Elijah's prayer. And at the time of the offering and the evening sacrifice, Elijah the prophet went to the altar and said, O Lord, the God of Abraham, Israel, and Jacob, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Answer me, O Lord, answer me, so that the people may know that you, O Lord, are God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offerings and the wood, and even the stones and the dust, and it was licked up the water in the trench. When all the people saw it, they fell down downward, and they said, The Lord, he is God, the Lord, he is God. Then Elijah said to him, Seize the prophets of Baal, and do not let one of them escape. They seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon, and as the God's law required, killed them. Now Elijah said to Ahab, go up and eat and drink, for there is the sound of the roar of an abundance of rain. So Ahab went up to eat and to drink, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. He crouched down to the earth and put his face between his knees. And he said to his servant, go up, look toward the sea. So he went up and looked at the sea, and they said, there's nothing. Elijah said, go back 7 times. And at the 7th time, the servant said, a cloud as small as a man's hand is coming up from the sea. And Elijah said, go up and say to Ahab, prepare your chariot and go down so that the rain shower does not stop you. In a little while, the sky grew dark with clouds and wind, and there was heavy showers. And Ahab mounted and rode his chariot and went inland to Jezreel. Then the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, giving him supernatural strength, and he girded up his loins and outran Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel, nearly 20 miles away. And I love that because God proves he alone is God. You can have your idols, you can have your things, but God is the one that answers. God is the one that shows up. And Elijah shows what it means to stand alone for God when everybody else around you is not. Everybody else around you, his faith did not waver. So, good reading. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.